happy Tuesday. What is going on, everybody, man?
Happy Tuesday.
Welcome to the Nashville Caveman Show. I am your host, Damo Unleash. I am here with a very good friend of mine, Sky. Go ahead, introduce yourself, man, and plug in anything you need to plug in.
Well, first of all, thank you again. We gotta thank the Lord for letting us wake up today. Thank God for letting us see another week. What episode are we on? Is this episode 6, 7? I can't even remember. We've been doing so many.
I think we are into episode maybe 7 or 8.
Something like that.
Man, that time has flown.
It's flown by. These Tuesdays come looping around real quick. But yeah, like you said, those of you who don't know me, my name is Scott Black. I'm a music publisher, pro wrestler, entrepreneur, CEO. As you see at the bottom, we have a radio station, and my show on that radio station is the D-Bling Radio Show. So for independent artists that is looking for radio play, you can hit me up at sky.black@gmail.com. Send your music. If you need your music streamed like iTunes and stuff, you can go to offtoprecords.net. Last weekend at the Wilson County Fairgrounds, Top Rope Wrestling, we had a great show there. Thanks to everybody who came out and enjoyed the show. The next show is December 2nd. Top Rope Wrestling is having their Christmas show December 2nd. So come out. If you live in Lebanon, Mount Juliet, Watertown, Gladeville, or you live close to Wilson County, come to the show because it's our biggest show. It's the best show. Santa Claus will be there. We'll be giving out gifts. We're going to have a lot of fun. And don't forget, the Boogie Woogie boy, Gary Valiant, he is retiring this year. So that will be his last match there at Top Rope Wrestling. So you don't want to miss that. And then shout out to the Denver Broncos for going 2-0. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs last week. And then last night, they beat the Buffalo Bills. The top 2 AFC teams in the AFC, Denver has beaten them.
Man, you know what? That was a crazy game. I didn't catch the whole game, but I'm going to tell you what part I caught. I caught where Denver had scored that last touchdown. And I said, oh my God, they had left too much time on the clock. And went down and they scored. And when they scored as quick as they did, I said, oh man, they messed up. They left way too much time. And the bad part was they were running the ball. So you thought that they would have ate up some time. But because they were eating up so many chunks of yards, they just scored too quick. And
that is absolutely true. And, they had a lot of turnovers, too. They had like 5 turnovers. Buffalo had 5, like 3 fumbles and 2 interceptions.
Man, and, for them to get down there, have an easy kick. I think it was that like a 35, 40-yard kick the first time that he kicked the ball?
Yep, sure was.
And he missed it by a good 3-4 yards. And then they get the 12 men on the field penalty, and it's a re-kick. Plus they get 5 yards, and then it was an easy kick, and he nailed it.
That's true. But, I always tell people when it comes to these games, I don't pin it down to just that one thing. Because if Buffalo played the way that they normally play, that wouldn't even count. Because you got to realize, we missed 2 extra points. We scored 2 touchdowns, but we missed 2 extra points. So we was like -2 behind the whole game because we had lost those 2 points. So those were 2 points that the Buffalo Bills didn't have to worry about. But they struggled so badly that they gave Denver enough time to figure it out.
Yep, and you said that's not usually how Buffalo play.
No.
It is. Buffalo turned that ball over. You know what? I don't know if maybe they colorblind, but they thought, Allen throws the ball like the other team wearing his jersey. And sometimes, like, I seen the one interception he had. Like, dude, you didn't have to fire that football that hard. Like, he put all of his arm into it, and it went off dude's hands and then hit, one of the Denver Broncos safeties or cornerbacks. And it was like a preventative turnover, but that's Buffalo.
Yeah. The very first play of the game, they fumbled. First play of the game, he had the running back. The running back come around. I thought he was down, but before he went down, that Bronco stripped that ball out before his knee touched that ground. Very first play.
Yep, and man, so I was happy. I thought about you when I seen your boys win, and I went on Instagram and I was like, man, congrats on the victory. Because I seen, was it a jersey that you posted?
A hoodie. I got shirts, jerseys, hoodies, hats,
Man, that was nice.
keychains.
That was nice, bro.
When you walk into my office, there's a little door thing right there that says Denver Broncos. So yeah, I got Denver Broncos everything. If I knew how to grill, I would buy me a Denver Bronco grilling set. But I don't grill.
Man, what's funny about that? I'm a fan of two teams.
Mm-hmm.
One team has exceeded the other one. So I used to be, for the longest, because I'm from Ohio, I was always a diehard Colt fan.
Gotcha.
The Browns, I hated the Browns, and I think I just disliked them because of the fan base. Their fan base is obnoxious. So it's hard to be a fan with them and being around them. But since Deshaun Watson, we was talking about this last week, since he went over to Cleveland, the Browns have grown on him. And they've actually surpassed the Colts. But I did get a grill set of the Colts. I got the little spatula, the little, everything, man. They got that for me.
What's up.
I got the robe, and I'm kind of now Colts and Browns. It's weird.
That's what's up, man. I hope one day, if I get a bigger home and how you have the backyard where you put the little grill out there, whatever, even if it's just for novelty or just for aesthetics, just to have it hanging. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. It's cool, man, especially to be out there. But now I got to get the Browns stuff and everything. Speaking of the Browns, that win that they had Sunday was phenomenal. Did you watch or did you catch any of the highlights of the Browns-Ravens game?
I did, and I don't want to take nothing away from the Browns. Congratulations to them. But it goes back to that quarterback. How do you lose that game making $200 million? This is why they paid you that type of money, to make sure that you don't let teams like the Cleveland Browns come into Baltimore, right? They was in Baltimore.
Yeah, but both of them got $200 million. Think about it. Deshaun Watson got $235 million guaranteed.
That's absolutely correct. So make sure that you don't let the division rivals come in and win a close game. Now, if Browns would have just blew them out, it's okay. But they pay you this extra money because you're Lamar Jackson. And they're saying, Lamar, when games are close, you should just take over and win them. This is the second game that I've seen this season that was close, and they lost.
The other one the Colts?
It might have been. It might have been.
They showed that game down here.
We're going on week 11, so I can't remember.
I got you.
Yeah. But again, congratulations to the Browns. But either way it goes, man, when you're making that type of money, this is what the pressure is on you to make sure that Baltimore don't lose those type of games. I mean, no team's going to go undefeated, so you're going to lose some games. But that, for the Browns to come back and maybe just kick a field goal to beat you, the owners, they upset. Man, come on.
You know what? And the AFC is so close. All the teams. Even though, like the Broncos, for example, the Broncos are only a game and a half, maybe 2 games out of playoff position. And there's a lot of more games left. So,
yes.
But I was happy to see Deshaun Watson, get that. Because that first half, dude was like 1 for 9. 1 interception. At one point, he was like 6 for 20. And then when the second half came, he was a perfect 14 to 14, 150 yards. Man, had a couple key runs, and he did it on the bum ankle. So to see him do that on the bum ankle was like phenomenal.
Correct. And so the defense on the Baltimore Ravens knew that because, it's an injury sheet and report that every team gets about the other team. So they're thinking he's on a bum ankle. He's not going to take off and run as much as he did. So when you play in man coverage and those linebackers got their backs turned, they're not expecting him to take off and run because he has a bum ankle. But like you say, a couple of plays, he said, screw it, I'm ready to take off and run. And see, there you go.
Yeah, man. And so it's going to be interesting. The Ravens had a chance to run away with it. They would have been 8-2.
8-2?
They would have been 8-2. and they would have probably, I think, been the number 1 seed right now.
Correct.
But it's going to be interesting because I'm going to tell people the Browns play Pittsburgh next week at home. Right. So if they beat Pittsburgh at home, the only other really rough team that I see on their schedule, there are 2. And one of them I don't trust in. One of them is Houston. I think everybody better watch out for them Houston Texans. Right. That young boy, C.J. Stroud, is the real. I've never seen a rookie quarterback. I didn't even see that in him. I didn't see him being that, what we see right now. I watched him at Ohio State. I didn't see that. So seeing him in Houston and them coming on strong, and the other team that Cleveland got to play is the Jacksonville Jaguars, who got drugged up and down the field last week, man. They got drugged, man. 34-3 by San Francisco, who came out like gangbusters.
Yeah. So, because San Francisco had lost 3 in a row, so you know they was gonna come out swinging, you know. And the C.J. Stroud guy, do you know who they talked about like that 6-7 years ago? He played in a preseason game. He was on fire when he first got in the league and started. He was looking good, and now they don't like him no more, or they trying to talk about get rid of him. Dak Prescott. That's who because I remember in 2016 when they drafted Dak, and he came in and he was playing on preseason. Well, he was looking really good, and then that first season, he was looking great. But then by season, sophomore jinx, 3rd season, 4th season, when these defensive coordinators find out what you can do and what you can't do, then that's when I get behind you. Can you consistently do it? Right now, he's new. You know, didn't nobody think that he was gonna come out and do what he's doing. So let's say he's Houston starter next year. Let's see what he can do then. Once these defensive coordinators get a tape of you now and see what you can do and what you can't do, because they're gonna take away what you like to do best, right? Yeah. So can you do some things that you don't like to do and still win games?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna give Dak Prescott a lot of credit. You know, he's been looking great these last couple weeks. And you know why? I think he's been playing a lot better than, you know, he's using his legs a lot more.
Right.
So if he don't see the play there, he don't force it, he tuck the ball, he run, positive yards is better than no yards or turning the ball over. Correct. So I don't know if one of them coordinators sat him down and said, hey, Dak, you need to make this more simple. You know, if you don't have something there, if you're not sure, tuck the ball and run. It's better that you get 4, 5, 6 yards than to get an interception and shorten the field, and our defense have to defend that.
That is correct. I didn't even watch the game between them and the Giants. I knew damn well the Giants wasn't going to beat them. I didn't even watch that. 42-7. Why they even showed that game, I have no clue. They should have known damn well they should have went to a different game than to sit there and put that game on Fox like that.
I think there's a college team out there right now that can beat the Giants. I'm sorry. Yeah. Giants is absolute doo-doo. You know, they quarterback, I don't entrust in they quarterback to throw the ball 10 yards. I didn't even like Daniel Jones. I think it was a fluke year last year. I think every break, sometimes in sports, when all the breaks roll your way, and it happens sometimes, and I think that's what happened for them last year. And then the first game they had in the playoffs was the most, I mean, if you're going to have any opponent, the opponent that you would have wanted to have was the Vikings. Right. Man, Kirk Cousins haven't beaten anybody in a meaningful play game. So if you wanted to go up against anybody, it would have been better to go up against Kirk Cousins. And lo and behold, that's who they had. But then when that second round came, the real Giants came to earth. Came back down to earth, man, when they got to that second round. And now we seeing it roll into this year. Correct. You know, them breaks aren't rolling their way, and they look horrible.
That's true. That's true. They talking about trying to get rid of Daniel. They talking about trying to get rid of Saquon Barkley. I'm like, well, these are your 2 stars. You get rid of them, you might not win 2 games next year. You know, that makes sense.
Well, see, that's the crazy part, because you know, you got at least 3 or 4, well, at least 2 or 3 good quarterbacks coming out in the NFL draft.
Right.
So what do you do if one of them quarterbacks fall to you? Do you pass on them, or do you take the chance? Because they paid Daniel Jones this year, didn't they?
They did what?
Didn't they pay Daniel Jones? Didn't they give him a big contract? Was it this year, or is he up for one?
I think they might have. I
I
can't
thought
remember. I know they kicked Eli out of town for him. That I
yeah.
do know. So, but I can't remember if he's still on his rookie contract or not. Shout out to David Lackey Jr., brother. What's up, DJ?
Hey, what's going on, Dave?
Yeah, so I think so, but don't start me lying. I'll get good at it. Yeah, I can't remember if they did or didn't.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you because are you in the WWE also? Have you been following the latest in WWE?
Yes.
What do you think they're going to do with Drew McIntyre's character?
I don't know. I have no clue what they want to do with Drew. Is right now he's just stuck in what I call purgatory. He's a top star, right? He's a main eventer, right? But he's not gonna beat Roman, and he's not. And you see, Seth beat him 1, 2, 3, fair and square. That tells me right there that it's over. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And then Gunther beat him. So Gunther beat him fair and square. Seth Rollins beat him fair and square. Roman Reigns has beaten him. Well, he cheated, but he beat him. So
he said he cheated.
Drew McIntyre's character. I have no clue.
Man, you know what, Roman? I don't know if there's a match that Roman ain't cheated. Has it been a match where he ain't cheated yet?
Hey, my homeboy Stress said Daniel Jones got a big contract last summer. So yeah, he got a big contract. Okay, thank you, Stress. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought so. So that's
out to Chicago too. Hey, Stress, I'll be up there in a couple of weeks. Are you still up in Chicago? Go ahead, Damo.
No, I said I thought so. So they're stuck between the rock and the hard spot. Because what do you do?
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right. But I didn't know. I don't keep up with the Giants like that, so I didn't want to start telling lies.
Yeah. They ain't going nowhere anyway. I hate that they gave him that contract. That's bad. You know?
Yeah.
And did you go downtown this weekend, man? You know, they had the country music fest. Was it the awards? It wasn't the fest. It was the country music award show, right?
I believe so. And no, I didn't go, man. I'm at that age where, man, I just rather sit in the house. I didn't watch it on TV. Like,
yeah, me neither.
I mean,
you gotta realize, man, that traffic is just going downtown, and ain't nothing worse when they block streets off and you got to go around the city and you got to go outside your normal route. Plus, they were doing construction. They were doing construction on I-40, so I-40 was closed down for pretty much the weekend. And then potholes. Did you see on the news where we ranked 4th in the nation as far as cities with the worst potholes?
I believe it. And then another reason I wouldn't go, yeah, you did fall on your head. My homeboy DJ, he wrestled at Top Rope Saturday, and they threw him out the ring, and for some reason he didn't take a good bump. He kind of landed on his head. But I'm glad you healing up and feeling better. But then what I was going to say was another reason is because for some reason my part of town is always on the news. You hear about that Belmont girl that got shot?
Oh,
that was in Edge Hill. That was in Edge Hill, across the street from Watson Grove Church. I mean that's crazy. That girl was just in that park jogging or exercising, and 2 people got to shooting at each other, and one of the bullets hit her in the head, and she was there for an hour before
somebody found her.
Yeah. So the crazy part is she eventually died, but I'm trying to wonder why she didn't die. If you get shot in the head and you lay there for an hour bleeding, I believe you should have died right then. But she stayed alive long enough for the ambulance to come get her, and she died at the hospital in Vanderbilt.
And she lasted at least a good 24 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if somebody had found her sooner, could the outcome been different?
Man, that's crazy because you remember I just told you a friend of mine, her son got killed not too long ago in
We was
Edgehill.
talking about that last week or the week before. We sure
And then not
were.
only that, there was a police shooting in the projects not too long ago over in Edgehill. I was on the news watching. So any of y'all that's in my old stomping ground, South Nashville, Edgehill, stay away from that place. And I'm talking about if you go to the Gulch, if you go to Vanderbilt, if you go to Belmont, man, at night, go home. Go home.
I mean, what are the odds, man?
I lived it. I lived it all my life, huh?
It's like, what are the odds of that happening? All this space and you walking down the street and you just like that, man, somebody take you out. And you don't even have nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. And the problem, though, I tell everybody the problem with my area is all the other projects in Nashville, they either tore down and rebuild them, right? Or they kind of fixed them up, okay? And shit, they didn't do nothing with them. Because when they tore these projects down, when they fixed them up, they gave these girls vouchers to say, hey, you need to move up out of here. And most of them moved into like the Antioch, Laverne area. But some of them moved into Edgehill. And the problem was you got somebody out west in those projects beefing with somebody out east in these projects, right? Well, his baby mama got a voucher to move to Edgehill. His baby mama got a voucher to move to Edgehill. Now the two guys that were beefing each other from across town, now they right there looking at each other when they come out the door. So all of Nashville's worst is in Edgehill because they still accepted those vouchers from when they got kicked out of these other projects. So you got north, east, west of the worst people out of all these projects now living in the Edgehill projects.
And they said that dude had no business even being out.
Nope.
They said he wasn't mentally. He didn't qualify to be mentally unstable enough for him to go to a mental institute. And then for some reason, though, he was just out on the street.
Yep.
And they said he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't even been out on the street. Nope. Because when they locked him up the first time, it was for aggravated assault. And then the law states that if two mental health doctors get together and say, hey, he's physically unstable to stand trial, then they throw it out of court. So they threw it out and released him. And this was back in February, March. And so now you look at that, and that girl got killed, and he wasn't even trying to shoot at her. He just seen an image. Like I said, the worst of the worst is in those projects. So you come out your front door, and your worst enemy comes out his front door, and then y'all looking at each other. You know, so who gonna draw that pistol first? And that's probably what happened. What they said, the dude was in a car. The other dude that was shooting was in a car. So one dude shooting back at him out of the car. He's probably in the yard or on the steps shooting at the dude in the car. And one of the bullets missed the car. How you miss a whole car, I don't know. And hit that girl in the head while she was jogging.
Man, something else that I was watching that was really wild. Did you see in Memphis where they went in that gas station, man, and just tore that? It was like a whole bunch of folks with masks on went inside a gas station and just tore it up. They was grabbing motor oil. They was grabbing snacks. They was grabbing them little cheap construction gloves. They just went in there a mob flash and went in and tore the store up. And that was over the weekend also.
Yep.
And the next day, you couldn't even really tell it. But man, I'm like, man, you know, the world just is getting crazier. And we were talking about this. Me and a good friend, we were doing a live over on TikTok. And we were talking about how people were in their house for the last 2 years with nothing but their own thoughts. And we seeing now that we're all back out in public, and we seeing more and more, you know, man, mass shootings, more and more mob flashes where people running in stores. I was watching where somebody was in, there was like 3 individuals went in the iPhone store and they was jumping up, I mean, pouncing on the shelf, right? Just to grab some display phones and run out the store. And I'm like, man, this is getting wild.
Well, I guess what are you gonna do with the display phones? Even if I go into the Apple store and steal a phone, what am I gonna do with it when I run out?
I was wondering that
because you still got to get it turned on, or it ain't worth a damn. These people
right, and don't it got a code on there? Don't it got something that you got to register that it's going to flag that hey, this is a stolen phone?
Well, when you go turn on the phone, they scan it, type in the little SMI code, SNN code. They type in like 3-4 codes in the computer, or when you talk to them over the phone to log that particular phone in. So unless you call them and say, hey, I stole the phone, but I still want to get it turned on, you have a useless phone. Unless you're going to sell it for part.
And you know what? They probably going to sell it to somebody who won't be foolish enough to not know it's stolen. But once they sell it on the street, say for example they sold it for $500. I got this iPhone, it's brand new. I just need to get off of it. $500, not insured. And the person's paid $500 for it. They go to turn it on. Well, sir, this is a stolen phone. We're not turning it on.
That's right. So you got a $500.
Yeah.
You better prove to them that you weren't the one that stole it, to be honest with you, because then they might call police on you.
If they know you, right. And nowadays, I was watching in Mount Juliet, and I'm saying, dang, man, they out in Mount Juliet now, where they went up for a gun sale and they had a shootout at a Target.
Yep. That's why you got to be careful. That's why you got to be careful, because you don't know who's crazy, who ain't, and I'm with you, DJ. As I go to these shows and I go straight home. Now I'm at the point where I do all my stuff during the day, man. When it starts getting dark, I'm in the house. I mean, unless I'm door dashing, but I ain't done that in a while. But other than that, and when I door dash, I gotta keep that strap on me. So but other than that, I'm in the house.
When I did DoorDash, I didn't even accept cash. That's why, because they give you the option if you want cash or not, if you want to take cash tips. And I never accepted them. And that was why. You know what I'm saying? I need to do that, man. Go get my license to carry. I got everything but that.
Yeah.
And I advise strongly that others go out and get their license to carry too. Because even though we're an open carry state, it's still beneficial to have that license. Because if you ever have to use it in court, they're going to use that against you. If you don't have that license, it's going to benefit you more having the license than not having it.
Hold on. Well, George, I don't know. George said I just got on here, got no sound. Sounds like you mute. I don't know. It has to come from your computer, because I can hear Damo. Damo can hear me. Everybody else that's on here, George can hear. So that has to be coming from your computer, my friend. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm there in Tennessee. It ain't hard to go get your license. Back then I had to get fingerprinted. I had to take a class. I had to do all that. And then you just go online and take a test and then print out your damn card. You ain't got to do all that. $300 for 8 years, $500 for a lifetime license. Tennessee got rid of all that crap.
So what? Okay. So for those who don't have a license, that want to go in, what should they expect when they go in to get one? What do you do?
Just go online. I think it's the secretary. I forgot who's doing it now. But you go online and fill out an application, and they give you a test, right? Once you pass the test, you good to go. You can go register to get your license. And I think one person told me they just printed theirs offline, because mine looks like a driver license. But now I think they have a part now that you can just print offline. Back in 2019, or I think I might be lying to you. It might be 2019. One of them. When I had to go, I had to take a class. That was $100 for the class. I had to pay X amount of money to go get fingerprinted. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to pay. You have the lifetime, and then you had the 8 years. The lifetime means you didn't have to renew. The 8 years meant you had to renew every 8 years. So I paid the $100 for me to do the 8 years. So every 8 years, I would just pay $100 to renew my license. So now, if you don't have it, you don't have to go to the class. You don't have to go to the shooting range. Shouts out to Jasmine. You don't have to go to the shooting range. You don't have to do none of that. If y'all don't believe me, Google it. Look up Tennessee carry law. They have changed it. It's gone crazy. Now anybody can go get a carry license and go get a gun. See, back then I had to take a test. I had to go to the shooting range. I had to at least get a 90 on my shooting. Do you hear me? A 90
Oh,
on
really?
my back then. Now it's like they've changed the law. But Tennessee and Texas, they don't hey, you want to carry a gun, these are the two best states to go, Tennessee and Texas.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got you, man. What do you think about that though? This open carry?
Again, everybody don't think the same, right? So I'm the type of person where, like in Tennessee and Texas, you can carry. When I mean carry, if there's a cop standing outside and you got on your hip, you can walk right past them. And if he says, "Excuse me, let me see your carry license," you show him, that you keep going, right? I'm the type of person, I don't do that. You don't know when I have my pistol on me or not, right? I like if I carry mine, you don't need to know unless I have to go pull it, right? So that's the part I hate about it, is it's too accessible. I was at a gas station the other day. This little young white boy, he pumped gas and had the gun was bigger than me, and I mean it was on his hip and everything. And I'm like, I'm against that, because most women, the two things that they're scared of is snakes and guns, because they're both unpredictable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You walking around Walmart, Kroger's, in the park with this big ass gun on your hip. Yes, legally you can, but you're scaring the kids and the women. So when I walk the park, mine is tucked in to where they don't even have a clue. So that's my hatred about it. If you're going to carry, hide it. That's why it's called concealed. You know what I'm saying? Hide it.
And me, what I do is, and I normally don't carry mine unless winter where I can put on a jacket. I have one of them shoulder straps, one of the ones where it's on my side.
Yes.
I could just pull it, you know what I mean? And so I like to have something like that where I can have something big enough where I can have it on me.
Yes.
And then you know that it's on me. It's not even on my waist. It's literally on my side.
Right.
You know? But here's the one thing I don't, and I know we about to get into the subject, but here's the one thing I don't really like about the open carry. They allow you to carry, but you can't go into certain establishments with it. Meaning that most people that carry, they got to leave it in their car. Right. And so then you get these young kids breaking into cars, and they say, well, lock it in your glove box. So if they break into your glove box and they get your weapon, whose fault is that? You tell me I can carry it, but then I can't carry it here, or I can't carry it there. Well, what's the point of having an open carry then?
Well, because Tennessee is still about businesses. So as a state, it's open carry. But if I own a business, a brick and mortar, that says I don't want guns in here, you have to at least respect it, But if I also tell you I don't want guns in here, a criminal is going to know that there's no guns in here. Like churches, they might have guns in churches now, but back in the day they didn't have guns. So what's the best place to rob somebody? It's in a church, in a movie theater, because they didn't want guns in movie theaters, right? So
it's like the school. That's why that school was able to have that, because they knew that they weren't against, they were against, having armed security. So it's easy for somebody to go through a school like that. And you think about how long it takes for a cop to get there on site. Well, by the time they do, but that'll be done.
That's absolutely correct. See, back in the day, back in Texas in the 60s, 70s, and the 80s, all those high school people had rifles in their trucks. You know what I'm saying? That you want to go mess with them, but as the laws got tightened about bringing weapons to school, now criminals are like, well, who's going to stop me before the police get there, right?
Well, Small Town, when Jason Aldean did that song Small Town, that's kind of what he was referencing to. Carrying their trucks, they carry wherever, and you got to worry about that in the small town. It's the big cities where they're telling you, and my issue isn't that I'm going to allow people to carry them in the stores, but have a place where at least they can put them. Have somewhere locker or something off of them, put it up, and then when they leave out, they get their weapon back. Don't have it where people can leave stuff or they have to leave it in their vehicle.
Correct.
For these young teens, because these young teens, all these illegal guns, they're stolen from cars, from vehicle owners.
That's absolutely correct. And another thing that got me in Tennessee, a lot of the places that allow you to carry guns is alcohol and bars. They allow you to come in there.
Yeah.
I walked into a bar not the other day that says we allow weapons. So you're gonna allow these people to come in here and get drunk and have weapons. So it's a catch-22 whether you go into a building that don't allow guns or you go downtown to a bar where you have alcohol and guns.
I think what the security should do is, and this is where I was referencing to, where I think security, they should have a special place where when you get in there, it's kind of like a coat. When you get in there and they take your coat and they place it elsewhere, they like a valet, a car. If you can valet cars, valet guns too then.
Right, yeah.
Have the person, you know what I'm saying? And they come back at the end of the night or the next day and they can pick up their weapon.
Correct.
Because like you said,
one friend that says that he don't go nowhere without his gun, so he don't go inside banks. Any bank transaction he has to do, he do it on the outside or do it at the ATM. Because you can't go in banks, you can't go in police stations, you can't go in the courthouses. Any federal buildings, you cannot be on the property with guns. So he's never in a federal building or a bank or a courthouse, nothing like that.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even want to carry mine in the federal. I don't need to, man. Everybody else got guns. The places that I'd be more concerned with are the places where people don't, they don't have weapons. A movie theater, somewhere like that.
That's correct. And now I'm hearing about pastors that are carrying, or deacons that are carrying guns in the church now. The world is coming to an end when you carry a firearm in God's house.
Right. I know our church has gotten like that, and that's pretty bad.
Yep.
But those are the times in.
Correct.
I know we got about 23 minutes, man, till the hour. So, we did this show before, and I wanted to run it back. We had such a good conversation, right? And it was qualities to look for in a potential wife. And me and my wife were actually talking about this morning. And you know what, Sky?
What's that?
I realized, and this conversation, I was like, it's only really two of them that I really need from her that see and say, okay, I know she's the one. Right. But I wanted to ask you, man, because I know, what do you think are qualities that men should look for in women to, as far as like looking for a potential wife?
Man, it's a lot of variables to that, because first of all, it depends on you, right? So let's say that I'm a weed head. I like to smoke all the time. But if I meet a girl that's just smoking weed, then she just won't qualify, will she? So it just right. So it just depends on who you are. Now, somebody like me, I love being able to pay my bills on time, right? That actually excites me, right? Being able to turn on the lights, the water, have an 800 credit score, to be able to go to any type of dealership or anywhere I want to go. I know I have the credit. If I don't have the cash, if I want it, I can get it. I'm not a child anymore. I don't have to wait till Christmas to get what I want. I'm in a position where if I want it, I can go get it, right? So I need a woman that's like that is on the same path as me. We're going to grow spiritually, emotionally, physically, and financially. The old folks told me you're supposed to do what's right even when you don't want to. And that's what I'm looking for. When you don't want to do it and be like, well, why I have to do what's right when everybody else is doing wrong? Because that's the right thing to do. And that's the quality that I look for. Now, everybody else, they have to look themselves in the mirror first. And then whatever qualities that they desire, then that's probably what they want to mirror from a wife.
I got you, man. I got two of them. And I was talking to my wife about this. One of them is, and the first one that drew me to my wife, her ability to put others' needs in front of her own.
Right, amen.
She was selfless. Amen. And I think that, when I look at now, even though I don't have to compete and I'm not on the dating landscape as far as like, and trying to find a wife anymore, now I'm dating her, right?
Right.
So, and I know her. We've been together for over half of our lives.
Right.
So, I know, I see that she put others before herself. She worried about others. She volunteered. You know what I'm saying? The other one is she spiritually connected to God. I think that is so important. I had this conversation with this really cool guy, man, when I was working security. He was working at Metro Water.
Right.
And we were just, man, politic. You know how guys do. We sit and we politic. And he was talking about how he met this woman. You know, this woman had, you know, a couple, she was, you know, good and everything, a good woman. And, you know, he elevate, meaning that, man, you know, once they got together, they were able to build together. He was the primary breadwinner.
Right.
And they ended up getting them ladies. They elevated the house. She was in the bigger house. Right. Everything that once he into her life got bigger and better.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And no matter what he did, she had this emptiness in her.
Correct.
Like nothing fulfilled her. And I was like, you know what? You know, and it probably, you guys fell apart because she didn't have a spiritual connection. I think it's more important to find a woman that she find happiness on a spiritual level, not in houses or anything that's worldly, you know, cars, houses, you know, bags and stuff like that. Because I think a lot of people think money make them happy, and then they get money and they still do not feel fulfilled.
Nope.
And then, you know, like a lot of people think that money, the lack of money, ruins marriages. And I don't think a lot of times it's the lack of money. I think it is really a lack of a spiritual connection.
Right, right. Well, I'm with you on everything you just said. And here's the thing. So if you find a girl who is broke, bad credit, and been struggling, right? But she goes to church every Sunday. She loves the Lord. She's spiritually there. She's not going to care about none of that stuff because she's going to tell you up front, I'm looking for a man who has a relationship with God. We as men protect our women with material things, right? So if I go out and I'm going to buy 2 cars, I'm putting my wife in the Mercedes Benz that has all the bells and whistles. If she gets into an accident, if she gets lost, if the car breaks down, you take that shit, you take that stuff back to Mercedes Benz. I'll drive the 1995 Honda Accord because I first go out here and DoorDash and Lyft and rip and run any damn way. Do you see what I'm saying?
If you don't want her to break down, you don't want her to break down in the middle of anywhere and have to ask another man for help. You know what I'm saying? If you at work or whatever, you may be out of town. You don't want her to be in that position. I did the same thing. Yeah. I gave my wife the better vehicle. She has the Camaro. I got the GMC.
Right.
Arcadia, you know?
Right. Because we as men, that's what we do. We protect our families, especially our women. You know, if they're our queens, you know, you're going to get the better bed. And if you slip into them beds, you're going to get the better car. You're going to get the better jewelry. Hey, do you need any money? You got gas in your car? Like, hey, the car's dirty. I'm going to go wash it. You know, like, that's what we do as protectors anyway. So if you got a woman already looking for that, that's dead money to me. Because you can't fulfill her emotional stuff. You can't fulfill her spiritual stuff. You can't fulfill that hole in her heart from what her daddy left her. Material things you can fulfill. So if that's all I need to do is help you with your credit score and money and give you the best things in life, that's fine. But you got to come to the table with God in your life, a good mental health, and all that other stuff. Because that I can't do.
Right. And you know what? She comes from that. She didn't have no money. She didn't come from money or anything like that. Right. But you know the one good thing, and it's different. She didn't attach herself to my pops. Meaning that when we were in the dating stage, our dates will be at parks. Sometimes we would go to like a park and just sit there for an hour and just conversate. That was a date. You know, and some dates there was no money spent. Some dates there was, a dinner, movie, or we went out to an event, maybe golfing, miniature golfing, or something like that. But it wasn't required. The whole purpose of it was to get to know each other. And I think now it's kind of different, expectations as far as dating.
And it just goes both ways because you got two people. You got a girl that lives in the hood and you got a guy that lives in the hood. And this little young boy is watching these pimps drive down the street in these Cadillacs with all this money and he's getting the fly women. And then you got the little girl that says, dang, if I become a fly girl, I can get the pimps with all the money. So that right there, the morality is gone. You know, when you meet a girl and she gives you a list of 29 places that you can't take her, then you know she's all about the money. And let me tell you about life. It's ebbs and flows. When you first meet her, you might have money, but I guarantee you, as right here as I'm breathing, you're going to struggle. And when you struggle, she's gone to the next person.
Right.
So never get a girl that's like that. Never do that. I don't care how rich you are. We've seen rich people go broke all the time. Now, how much money you got today? When you start to struggle, she's gone. So if I was you, I would wait till while you're struggling, go find you a woman, because if
that's the best.
Down, she's still gonna be with you when you up, and when you go back down, she got your back.
Right. If you get one that gets you at your absolute, accept you at your absolute bottom, that's what I did. And that's what I was, you know what? I had a good friend of mine, a female friend of mine, and I told her, I was like, you know what? Say if, hypothetically speaking, if I was on the market, I would find a female that didn't have it together. Maybe financially, maybe she had it together up here, but she didn't have it together as far as like financially, than the female that had it together financially. I wouldn't want to build with a female that had her own, because that's hers. You understand what I'm saying? And I'd rather build with a female where we could turn it into it's ours. A female that has her own house, she's not going to part with that house to move in with you. If anything, she's going to try to get you to move in with her.
Right.
And I'm always against men moving in with women. My father did it. It worked out horrible. He let his house go into foreclosure and did the exact same thing. Me, I had a friend that he did it. He had a house he was renting, and he moved in with his girlfriend. Fast forward, now he don't have that house. He had to move out of her house, and now he's back at square one. So
that's half of my friends where I come from. They find in what we call a sugar mama and move in with them. That's because they don't have no drive in their lives. Like, you know, like where I come from, it's all about me, you know. And that's what got you here on this earth is me. So a lot of my friends were me, you know what I'm saying? So they go find a girl who got their own place, their own car, and all they have to do is just lay there and lay pipe every night, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I come from, you know. That's the environment it was.
You know what, Stein? You just made me think about something really deep. And I think this is where single parent home mess people up. The guys that women complain about, most of them, they're, you know, man, their expectations of their women is the same as the expectations of their mothers. Meaning that they want the women to take care of them the way that their mothers took care of them. Meaning that they think that they can lay around the couch, play video games, the women have to cook for them, the women have to wash their clothes, and they aren't required to go and be the head of the household, to lead, to protect, to provide. And vice versa, when you look at a lot of these women, a lot of them aren't looking for partners, they're looking for fathers. Give you an example. They'll be talking about how much men have to make to take care of them. They never talk about, man, what it is of how they can help that man. Right. And a lot of them, you know, man, they're choose career, you know, and they expect for the man to take care of them. You know, man, they don't want to nurture the children. You know, my degree is first. So I think that a daughter would be, instead of me, the way that a helpmate would be. A helpmate would be like, well, what do you need from me? Is there anything that I can do to assist you? And so
now go ahead.
Like, so I think, man, it's sad that a lot of both sexes, they look for qualities that they out of the mom and out of a father.
Yeah, yeah. And that's true too. And and still you have children that grew up in good households, mom, dad, good schools, didn't never want for nothing, and they go out here once they get 18 and still do some of the dumbest things you've ever seen in your life. So sometimes, even in your environment, you can grow up in a good environment, but it's just something up here that says, you know what, I lived this life all my life. Let me go out here and try this life. Why would you,
Right.
But yeah, because sometimes the girls can figure out, hey, you might not have money, but your mammy and your pappy got money, so y'all gonna be with you, because when they kick the bucket, guess what? That's gonna come on down to me. So yeah, like you said, when you do a first date, which is basically an interview, you know what I'm saying? You need to talk and get to know that person. But it all starts with you looking in the mirror, asking yourself, do you want a good woman like Tamala Mann? Or do you want one of these girls out here like Sexy Red? And that's on you when you look in the mirror.
All right, Tia Mowry. Somebody like Tia Mowry who was married for all them years and then, got a divorce. And now she's looking to remarry, and it's like, as a guy looking in, I'm looking at that like, there is no way.
Right.
Ain't no way I will go ahead and marry you, because then I may be sitting in the same position as this man many years from now.
Right.
I might as well just date you. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, man. Experience. I don't think it's good to have a whole bunch of dating experience.
Right.
I think some of y'all have way too many of them. Each of them leave a skid mark on y'all. Bad taste in your mouth, especially when they don't work out. And so then y'all have these unrealistic expectations of the other sex. And I think sometimes you could just simplify it. Just simplify it. Like we used to tradition.
Right. You're right. And so I do know, in some churches now, when men become young men of age, they have these classes for like single people, young adults, and they try to groom them with most of the qualities that you were talking about. Because sometimes you ain't gonna get it in school, you ain't gonna get it in the household, you ain't gonna get it in the streets. So now the churches are trying to get together and say, hey, let's see what we can do, talk to these kids and send them the right way. So that way when they meet the right person, it's a good fit.
Right. And you know what? We was joking about this. Once upon a time, traditionally, when men, when a man used to have to court a female,
right.
First and foremost, we used to have to go through the father.
Amen.
You couldn't even date a woman unless you went through and got approved by her father. And that wasn't the end game, because you know what else happened?
What's that?
You better, if he told you to have my daughter home at a certain time, right. Guess what you better do?
Have a home.
You better have his daughter home at that time. So
right.
We used to take women on dates. I look at it as an investment. Yes, the investment is our potential to eventually, hopefully, marry you.
Right.
It wasn't just us taking y'all on a date to have a good time. I don't want to date and have a vibe and have a good time, because I work hard for these dollars. I'm sorry. I work real hard, you know what I'm saying, for these dollars. Pick that 10,000 pound brick, you know what I'm saying, and that sled hammer, and got a bulk in my back. So I'm not wasting my money just for a vibe and a good time. We used to, when we took a female out on a date, in hopes of it leading to another date.
Right. I feel everything you're saying. That's usually how it is. But man, the generation stuff has changed, man. I mean, I can blame it on a lot of stuff, man, but generations have changed. Now they want to be like princes of Arabia. They want 3 or 4 wives and a secret girlfriend and, a family across town. And I mean, and then now these girls don't have fathers for you to go through. But I do know, I have friends that are like in other cultures. If there's no father, there is a head guy that you go through, whether it's a brother or uncle, something like that. But you don't go through fathers no more. Or the fathers is at the point where they were trying to get rid of their daughters, because that still happens. Like, man, I need you 21, you ain't married yet, and this dude want to marry you? Come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that still happens too. When the father's like, man, I'm trying to marry out both of my daughters. You got somebody else?
Man, you know what? Let me tell you, I might have to go because I want to marry mine off, man. And, right now, you look at things right now, it don't look promising. A lot of these dudes I'm finding out, they don't want to get married. No. And I don't blame them. No. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of them don't really think of prenup, right?
Nope.
And they feel like I'm going to work hard and she's going to end up leaving me eventually and building with somebody else. And I lose half of everything, including, most people don't understand, it's not the finance part that guys are worried about as much as it is the children.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes are afraid to lose their kids. Right. Somebody else, a new boyfriend, having more access to their kids than them. That is the worry.
You're right about that. And there's no way to predict the future, man. I mean, you can try your best to prevent a lot of things, but I'm with you. Do the best that you can, whether it's a will, a testament, a prenup, have a second bank account somewhere that people don't know about, whatever, a safety net, because, she might love you today and 10 years later, she might be ready to divorce you. And you ain't done nothing at all. She just fell out of love with you. This is it. Her.
Or you can do, did you see what soccer player did, Sky?
What's that?
Man, what he did is he put everything in his mother's name.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Oh, she was pissed.
Yeah. And so when the wife filed for divorce,
mm-hmm.
he didn't have anything.
He didn't have anything.
So when they had to bring that paperwork, it showed she, even though he made more money.
Correct.
So then she had to pay him.
That's right. That's absolutely correct. You're right about that. Yep.
So
be careful when you try to play that game.
Yep. And as I would tell y'all, put it in the trust.
Yeah, put it in the
trust. And then that way she can't go after it. And then put it in your mama's name in the trust.
That's
you gotta do
correct. That is correct. See, you're dropping gems. You're teaching people how to protect themselves and their money,
And I think women should do it too. Yep. Like fellas, if your daughter's out here and you taught your daughter to save, right? Then have her do the same thing. That's just not a gem for the men. That's for the women too. You want to protect your assets.
Right.
People, they frown upon me and Sky talked about this before. People frown upon when they hear prenup. But if it's going to last, what value does the prenup have anyway?
None. If y'all both die together.
If y'all die happily married, what value does the prenup have?
Because only two things will happen in a marriage: divorce or death. Them the two D's. Divorce.
There you go.
Death. Well, I mean, maybe separation, but I don't think people look at separation like that. You still married. So divorce or death. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you, like you said, if you last till the day you die, then that prenup, it might cost you $2,500, but that prenup means absolutely nothing. But if somehow it doesn't, you gonna wish you had it, because the only people that's gonna make the money is the lawyers. That's it. Divorce lawyers, man, some of the highest paid people in America. Because people are getting divorced like crazy.
You ain't lying.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we coming to the top of the hour, man. We hope you guys enjoyed this show. Next week, we're going to be sharing, man, great family memories, man. Thanksgiving is coming up. I wish you guys a safe travels if you are traveling. We all going to eat good. We'd love to hear some of your favorite Thanksgiving meals. And so if y'all can share that in the comments next week, I want to go ahead and plug in this show. A good friend of mine, if you're out on the West Coast in the Phoenix, Arizona area, you go ahead and check out the House of Comedy. It's Rick Brunson's House of Comedy. There's going to be there. They're going to have nice meals, good laughs, 4 great comedians: Ezra Storman, Chris Clough, Christopher Warrior, and Ray Love, hosted Charlie Reisner. So make sure y'all check that out. That is on the 22nd of, if you're on the West Coast, the House of Comedy.
That's what's up. Congratulations. I wish I was there.
Man, so how was that experience? What you said you had your first podcast last week. I know I caught the end part of it. Yeah. How was that? I think you did a good job. I was like, look at my boy Sky go. Man, that was fun, man.
Well, if you see the title, it says practice. I was just trying to practice how to stream live, and I was really trying to practice how to get the lighting, because I got all type of lights set up back here to get the best lighting and all this stuff. So I did like a little 30-minute thing that was just talking about myself and what I want to accomplish out of the podcast, and how one guy had a conversation with, and he was telling me about credit card roulette. You know, if you, I don't know, some of y'all know, but you got, you know, if you got a business credit card or whatever, like I do, you know, you go out to eat with like 10 people, and everybody puts their card into a hat like this one. And when the waitress comes, she just pulls cards out of a hat. And if you're the last one to get pulled out, guess what? You pay for a meal. Because if you're a real boss, you shouldn't be upset paying for a meal, because basically you're planting a seed into all the other businesses, right? And over time, that harvest will come back to you. And I didn't look at it there. I was like, man,
that is
real. So, yeah, I've done that before. So if you've never paid, if you've never went out and just said, hey, it's on me, or if you never did credit, I don't know if you can come to the. He told me that, so now I'm saying I don't know if you can sit at the table with me if you never experienced that. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's crazy. And if you haven't,
but you know what, Sky?
Huh?
But you know what, Sky?
Just that.
Whenever I have a business meeting, most part I offer to pay for the
Me
meeting.
too. Yeah.
So I never even heard of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when we, when we first met up. You know, first time I paid, second time you paid. Yeah. So we just operate like that's different. And that's how I always was. You know, it wasn't a big deal to me.
Right. I mean, depending on what type of business you get into, you know, let's say you want to get into podcasting and you want to pick Damo's brain, take him out to eat. Say, Damo, what do you like to eat? I'm going to pay for it. And then let Damo talk about himself the whole meal, because you're going to pick his brain, and I guarantee you he's going to say something that you didn't know. That's an investment. That's what you do. But if you don't have time to invest like that, you're not trying to grow no business. You're not. And this is coming from an introvert, so I know if you know, I'm nervous and anxious about being around people I don't know. But if you don't invest into yourself and in people like that, you're not gonna grow. It's just hard, you know.
And you know what?
And hold on, I don't mean to cut you off, but I did it. He'll tell you. He was like, me, you, and Rob D, we gonna meet. I said, well, I'm gonna pay for it, because I need to know what Rob D is going to say, and I need to know what Damo is going to say. So I made that investment. So I'm not telling you, I'm not a hypocrite and trying to tell you something that I haven't done.
Right. And plus, you know what? Food connects people. Nothing that connect people more than food.
Right.
So if there's somebody that you want to link up with and, you know, a business meeting with, pick their brain, the best way to do is food. And if you're paying for that and they don't have to worry about that, that means they can turn all their focus on you.
There you go.
Man, you're winning.
You got it. And I don't care how much money they got. Hell, they could be millionaires. But I guarantee you, I'm going to have $50, $60 saved up to take that millionaire out to eat. So, because when you're a millionaire, everybody expects you to pay. Everybody expects you. The day that he doesn't or she doesn't have to pay, they just show up and just be able to sit and relax. You don't know what that means to folks like that. You just don't know what that means to people like that.
The respect level it's on a whole nother level.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You become real good people.
That's right.
And actually, man, is a form of trust. They have some trust in you.
That's absolutely correct. And so when they leave that dinner, you know, you give them a card and they won't forget about you. You know, they busy. But I guarantee you, when it's time for your name to come up, your phone will be ringing off the hook because they remember that you took the time to treat them, and they didn't have to dig in their pockets to treat you. Because people always figure, oh, you got the money, you got it, and yeah, they might, but sometimes it's the thought that counts. That's just what it is. It's the thought. You could have spent your money on anything in the world, but you decided to spend it on that one person that day. It's the thought that counts.
Yep, and you know what? Before we get up out of here, hold on. I'm trying to find. I got another a promo because
Okay.
there is something that I want to do different. Not as far as this show, but something that I'm going to incorporate throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't decided what day I want to do it, but there is something new that I want to do. Okay, I'm gonna play this little video for y'all. We're gonna close the show out. But I want y'all to check this out. This is something I want to do. If you have a business, if you have a brand, anything, Sky, this is something I think that, because I want to help people. This is something that I want this platform to really, really help people. And I thought of something from a conversation or idea that you had kind of talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to play this. If you guys are interested, man, just make sure y'all tap in, reach out to me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip. Cool. Hey, what is going on? I am Damo Unleashed. I'm looking for people who have new upstart small businesses to promote. So if you're interested, send me an email to souldrivenllc@gmail.com. If you have a bakery, if you have your own barbershop, if you even sell any brands, reach out to me. We will go ahead, do an interview. You can showcase what it is that you have going on. And at the bottom, if you have a website, we will also promote your website during this interview. Now, when I streams to 5 platforms, okay? YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and X. So reach out to me. Looking forward to hearing from you. Till then, peace. Hey guys,
love it.
This is as easy as sending a link. So if you have a small business, you have anything that you want to market, just let me know. I sent you the link. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your business or the comfort of your home if you run your business at home. All you have to do, reach out to me. I'll send you a link. You click on the link via your phone, and then we could do a live interview the same way me and Sky are sitting here right now. Okay? If you see the ticker at the bottom, we'll go ahead and we'll promote your business. And I'll leave the floor to you guys to just show people what it is that you have going on, how they can find you, how they can reach you. And it don't matter where you are in the country or in the world, just reach out to me. My email is souldrivenllc@gmail.com. Again, that's souldrivenllc@gmail.com. Reach out to me. And if I can help some of you guys out, man, promote whatever it is you got going on, that's a great, thing that, that'll be my good deed for the week. And hopefully I get to the point where I can do it daily.
Right. I understand. That was amazing. I like that. And and you're so professional. Again, y'all, if you serious about the credit card roulette or taking out a mentor, or this man is giving you a way to advertise, especially if you're new in the business and you never advertised before, this is where you should start. Because even if you don't sell a thing, you ain't lost a lot of money. Don't go pay Comcast and Facebook and YouTube all these hundreds and thousands of dollars, and you don't know what you're doing. Everybody needs a place to start. Start here, pay the money he's asking for, and see what works and don't work. And what works, then you upgrade and go on to CW or BET and all that other stuff. So many people are trying to jump off the porch so fast that they're shooting themselves in the foot. This is why 80% of businesses fail in 5 years, because they don't want to grow. They take in business, think big. I already think like a millionaire, right? And that's true. I'm not against that. But if your pockets ain't a millionaire, then you can think like a millionaire on a small budget.
Right. And you know, we could talk about all that negotiations when you guys reach out to me. But the biggest thing for me is just I work with your budget. It's just to get your business out there, whatever it is that you have going on, to just get it out there.
Right.
And that's it.
Because when you go to other advertising places, that's why I tell people come to my radio show, right? So when you go to 101 or 92Q or whoever or satellite radio, they're gonna ask who else has been playing your music. Because if nobody else has been playing your music, they look at you as being unsolicited. So when you can say I actually have a radio show or a station that's playing my music and they can contact me or go to the site, then they're more willing to play your music, right? So if they come to you and do the advertising first, when they go to somebody else and fill out, because you're gonna fill out an application and fill out an application for them to advertise your product. Well, who else has been doing it? Because if nobody else has been advertising it, even though you're going to give us all this money, we might not want to advertise your stuff. Well, this guy, he's been advertising, so they can come back, see what Damo has done for you, see how long you've been doing it, and then they see that you are professional because you're willing to invest in yourself and get the ball rolling.
You got it, man. Hey, Sky, you know, man, it's always a blessing to be on here with you. Brother, I always learn something new and I get smarter being around you, brother. So I appreciate you. Look forward to next week. I hope you have a great rest of the week, man, and I'll make sure I'll be in touch with you.
Man, you too. Again, let me give a shout out to Jasmine. Let me give a shout out to my homeboy George, DJ, and Levi Stress, man. Thank y'all for commenting and watching. And for those of you who's watching and just didn't comment, thank y'all for watching again. Our goal is to drop these jewels and these gems. Talk to us. Ask us what's going on. Hell, even if you ain't starting a business and you just need some information in life. Because one of the shows I want to talk about, I have a friend that is probably going through some things. You know, Damo, he's depressed. He's going through anxiety. He's in a dark place in his life. You know, he's going back to drinking. And like I told him, I can listen to you and I can talk to you, but I've never done none of those things. So I can't sit here and tell you I know what you're going through, but I've never gone through them. So we can do an episode like that for people like me who's never gone through those things and still be able to help other people. I would like to know how to do that.
Man, you know what? We're going to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully we can get things situated where we can get people on here to rather, what I want was set up a line, a phone line, where people can just call up and this, if they have an issue, we could talk about whatever it is, man, a scenario that they have going on in their life to see if we can help. You know, I'm not saying that we know everything, but maybe, you know, it's a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience between you and I. So
correct. That is absolutely correct. So that's why I like to learn too. So, you know, because people will ask you for things or ask you, I'm like, man, I can send you to somebody, but I cannot sit here and help you with any of that stuff if I've never gone through it. If I've gone through it, I can help you. But if I ain't gone through it, how do you help folks that ain't gone through it? And somebody's like, well, just this thing is a part of it. Well, I can do that, you know. I guess.
Right. Well, hey, man, thank you guys for tuning in, man. We love y'all.
Yes.
Please be safe out there. Remember, man, the only thing guaranteed in life is death.
That's it.
So don't worry about things that you don't have control over. Okay?
Amen.
Give it to God.
Damo, it's always good seeing you, my friend. I can't wait till next Tuesday.
Man, me neither, brother, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. Thank you again. Peace. Love y'all.